And Star is asking about Titanic. I mean, Titanic is such an easy movie to talk about. We could just stick it in at the end. We could talk
Yeah,
about
well,
maybe Jason actually sank the Titanic. There was no iceberg.
I don't know if you know about the Californian, which was the ship that was like near the Titanic.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, well there was this ship, it was called the Californian, and they were like I don't know, 20 feet or something.
Oh,
They were,
20
they were
feet?
like, well, it's probably further than that. They were like,
Like right
they
next to
weren't that far though. And
I'm
they,
just
but they were
picturing.
ahead of them, and they were like, oh, you guys, there's like icebergs, you better be careful. And there was like some mix up,
Oh no.
and the guy on the Titanic was like, because they were like backlogged or whatever, and there was some
Uh-huh.
other shit. I don't know the whole story there, but he was just like, "Oh my god, shut up!" Basically, and the guy's like, "Okay, whatever."
Of course. That tracks.
And so then when they were calling out for help, like when they were looking into it after, they're like, "Well, you guys were so close. Why didn't you go help?" But they
Oh.
were a small ship. Like they could only fit like 200 people with the crew. It's like
Uh-huh.
they couldn't have even saved hardly anybody anyway.
Listen, I would have been like, I told you guys not to drive over there, and this is none of my business. Like, you guys are the unsinkable giant ship that didn't let black people on. Like, whatever happens, happens. I let you know that there was an iceberg there, and you were like, it's cool, we're in a big ship.
Yeah,
That's so
and
dumb.
so I like to say, because there's like the people are like, "Oh my god, no, actually it got sunk by a torpedo." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was like totally that ship." They were like, "You know why you tell us to shut
They were like, you didn't pay attention to me. That
so
I'm just picturing them like right there watching it happen, like that Kermit the Frog meme where it's like,
And according to James Cameron, there is like a scene where you can supposedly see it
uh-huh.
in like the actual movie, but I've looked at that scene and I cannot see it. I don't care what the fuck he said.
He's just like, oh yeah, it's there. I promise.
I'm gonna say he
Uh,
has a deleted scene that like is them like arguing.
ooh. No, Cha Cha, you're so right. I've been obsessing over, I think Emmy has too, like just watching the little videos and learning more and more. I know so much about like submersibles and CO2 scrubbers and like how much room they had. Like I know so much about it now. Like, and
I'm I'm going to say, and this is a hot take, and
hot
you don't have
take.
to agree with me, but I'm not going to feel guilty for shitting on them if they don't get rescued. Because you almost have to know the fucking risks
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they must
by
have signed
going.
a waiver.
Yeah, it's like if you do not know, like, it's dangerous going down there, and you're like, it's gonna be fine, like.
Mm. My hot take on that, which is the same as your hot take, is just what did you think would happen? It's like if I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I think I'll take a tour of Chernobyl because I just loved that show. I love history. I love radiation. Like I think I'll just go check it out. Like I can't really be all that surprised if I melt.
Well, and they say that because of bacteria and all this shit, like, it's deteriorating so fast, like, the ship's not even gonna probably be there in 30 years. So it's like, why the fuck would you go in there? Like, that's just. And it's been under there for over 100 years already.
I
Like,
know.
you're just taking your life in your hands. I'm
I yeah, and I saw like footage from when another reporter like that CBS piece that went viral where he's like talking about how it's not approved by any regulators and it's like it could result in serious injury, trauma and death and he's like sign me up. And so he went and they showed video of the Titanic down there and like it just looks nasty. Like it just looks
yeah.
rotten and gross. So I personally would just rather watch the Titanic. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and the footage of the shipwreck in the movie Titanic.
Mhm.
is the actual Titanic. Like James Cameron went down there and got all that
See,
footage for
James
us.
Cameron did it for us.
And anybody that's gonna say, "Oh, James Cameron did it first," or like did it so it's fine, like that was fucking almost 30 years ago. Like it's
Yeah.
like so much can happen in that time. Like just because it
Mhm.
was even a fraction safe, that
Well,
does not mean it's safe now.
he also didn't go in like a tin can.
Yeah.
Um, but then the other thing is that James Cameron also made The Abyss, which shows you what can happen if you get stuck underwater. So, like, what are you doing?
And I'm gonna say, as a kid,
Uh huh.
when I first saw Titanic, I'm like, because the movie doesn't really like I know they say like in the background like, oh, it's like this far underwater,
Yeah.
but when you're a kid, you're not fucking paying attention.
No, that's not the part that I care about.
And so it's like they don't make it seem like it's that far under. So I'm like, oh, that might be kind of cool. But even then, I wouldn't have gone inside. It's like you go down there,
Mm.
you see it, and you go back.
No, they're crazy.
But then I saw like this YouTube video showing like, I mean, I'd already decided by then like, no, I actually don't want to go in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that shit. But then I saw a thing like showing like how far like different shipwrecks are. And when you
Mhm.
see how fucking far down the Titanic is, I'm like, there is no fucking way you could
No.
get me to go down.
There is not anything that I want to see that badly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cha-cha, like it's such an exclusive destination. You too can almost die.
You get older and you realize like thousands of people fucking die
I
there.
know.
Like it's such bad taste. Like if you want to do something, like go to fucking Vegas
I
and see the
know.
museum at the Luxor.
It's like a combination of audacity and like no honor. It's like the people who get married at plantations. Do you understand how miserable people were here? Like, do you understand that horrible things? People had the worst day of their lives here, and you just want to
Yeah,
like go take a selfie there? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Have you watched Drunk History?
I've seen a few episodes.
So I watched one recently, and it was about one of the bakers on the Titanic, and he was
Oh,
like,
yes.
yes, that
I actually know about
alcoholic.
this.
Yes. He was like, I'm just gonna get drunk then. And he got so drunk that like his body temperature was so out of whack that he was
Yeah.
able to like the stories that we keep everything is telling us that if you have a choice between going outside and getting drunk, it's safer and more responsible to opt for drinking because all the people who lived in Friday the
Yeah.
13th were drunk.
Yeah.
All the people on the Titanic, the one, the only survivor, or whatever. I don't know.
I don't think he was one of the very few because there
Yeah.
was another guy who survived that wasn't drunk, but he died like 6 months
You
later.
see? What does the Titanic even look like?
It's
I
just like
think
a
this is
boat
it.
with like four
Yeah.
little things sticking.
Titanic. And then here, yeah, that's it. Anyone could recognize that. This is the iceberg. I mean, nobody talks about how the iceberg must have felt, like minding its own
Yeah,
business, and then some
I
big old boat just runs into it. Oh, I'm gonna draw the California now. Right next door.
it's got to be like a lot smaller though. Like,
Oh.
well, I mean, I don't know
No,
because
you're right,
mine's
because the
like,
Titanic was like way bigger than everyone else.
gonna say, I just know that they could only hold with their crew like 200 people or something, like something really small like that. And it's like, okay, they can save like a couple people. What good that gonna do? Yes.